Hello everyone, Gomez here for the LAN channel with more card reveals. So I've got no idea what the hell they're going to be showing us today, whether it's going to be followers, champions, whatever the hell. Let's get in and see what they have in store for us today. Okay, so it looks like we've got actually a bunch of cards. So welcome, which is beyond Bandlewood. We're getting a bunch of Bandlewood, and we have already a dual region card. Let's quickly get in and do all of these things. So the Aloof Travelers is a dual region, and also Yodel. Bear in mind, loads of these are getting that, which is that tribe name of Yodel. So when I'm summoned, both players draw one. Then the opponent discards the hut. Oh! A nice colored card, which means that, so for a 4 cost, it's a 4/3/4, so not the worst stats, but it's the fact that it is, number one, it is allowing both people to draw, so it's kind of, in a manner of speaking, like the other one. Well, I can't think of the names of these right now. The Investigator, who makes both players draw one card, but this one is then meaning that you're drawing one and then making your opponent discard the highest costed card. So that could be their champion, that could be one of their really powerful cards they want to be using. So actually quite a devastating maneuver that can be done here, as well as obviously this could be considered something that you could add to a Shroom deck. So if you were running Teemo, Bandle City kind of thing, this is forcing your opponent to draw cards, which is going to mean they're hitting the Puffcaps and then discard the card as well. So actually not a bad card. Already loving what I'm seeing here already, and I've only seen one card. So the next one is a 6 cost Bandle, which is, it's just Bandle City, which is the Lyric Venturer one who we've been seeing going around, the Archiver. So when I'm summoned, the round, which is, so when I'm summoned and round ends, so technically you'd get this off twice, because by summoning you're getting this effect happening, and at the round of the end of summoning you also get this effect. Plant 3 poison Puffcaps on random cards in the enemy deck. Traps on enemy cards are doubled when activated. So does that mean that this one becomes a, like, well, I can't think of names right now, one of those cards where it's an aura effect. So while this card is on the board, so for 6 cost of 4/4, while this card is on the board, traps on enemy cards doubled when activated. So if your opponent removes this card, I believe it should mean that it gets rid of that, but this is actually going to be really poisonous. Like, so for that Puffcap deck, forced it so that however many Puffcaps they draw, it is going to be doing double the damage for them. So it's like having Dreadway, but having Dreadway like 2 turns earlier, and it does say traps, so not necessarily just me, because obviously Puffcaps are trap cards, but if they add more traps, which I don't know whether we might see some further on down the line, but any more traps that they add in here when they trap enemy cards, it's gonna mean that that effect is happening twice. So yet again, already exciting times of stupidity that can go on. So Lecturing Yodel for a 4 cost 3/5. When I'm summoned or attack, create a fleeting poison dart in hand. So yet again, another summon effect, but also with every single time that they attack forward, they're going to be doing this poison dart. So let's find out and see what the hell poison dart does. Not a bad stat for staying alive as well. Okay. We don't get to see poison dart yet. Okay, fair enough. Oh, look at the good boy, the bestest boy, the little doggo with a hat. So we've got the Puffcat Pup, which is a great name as well, by the way. Fantastic name. It's got quick attack, 2 cost quick attack, strike, plant 2 Puffcaps on random cards in the enemy deck. See, again, more things to be able to help that Puffcap stuff. So there is, like, Teemo could be made as a, like, Bandle City, a PNZ deck to be able to get access to those shrooms that are already there, as well as the additional shroom stuff which seems to be going on here. So there is actually some devastating stuff that can happen here for Puffcaps. So it does look like Puffcaps and those kind of things are going to potentially be on the rise. And now we go on to this one, the Swole Scout. So we have Swole Squirrel and Swole Scout. So Swole Scout, when I'm summoned, if you've added 2+ cards from your hand, when I'm summoned, if you've added 2+ cards to your hand this round, grant me +1 and elusive. So by that, I take it that it means, like, when it says added 2 cards, I assume that means like created cards, so create 2 cards, or if you've drawn cards. I don't know whether it works in both ways. So say, like, it just says when you've added 2 cards to your hand. So be it through creating cards, so be it through the cards which create Puffcaps, like the other Yodel that is going to be added to the game, the 4 cost, who gives you 2 Puffcaps, cards in your hand, whether or not that counts as being that. And then also if you draw cards, that can give this elusive plus 4 damage, which is not a bad elusive stat line for a 4/2. So yeah, again, quite a good one. And the fact that they've just added more Swole cards, I'm very, as a fan of Swole Squirrel, I'm very much a fan of the fact that they've added this. Doesn't have Scout though. He is a Swole Scout without Scout, but that's besides the point. So we go on to the next one, a free cost 3/2 Yodel Newbie. When I'm summoned, if you've added 2+, so it does seem like there's a lot of cards that are working with that, which, let's face it, if we are doing a Puffcap deck, you're going to be running Foundry, and so Foundry is going to be making you draw 2 cards, so technically adding 2 cards to your hand that round anyway. So if you have got Foundry, which is then forcing your opponent to draw those traps, if we get more traps, which could be insinuated by this card, that we could get more traps, we'll find out what we see. But obviously Foundry is going to be like the main source of being able to get your cards that's going to basically activate both of these. But yeah, if you summon 2 cards this round, grant me +1/+2, so making this into a 4/4, which yeah, again is like a nice stat for free, for a free cost unit. It's not too bad. It's not the best of things, but it's got the Yodel word. If we see things which increase Yodel stats, like increase your Yodels by +2/+2 or whatever, it's a card which can be added into that kind of synergy. So we have a 2-mana burst speed. So the first spell card I believe that we've seen for Bandle City, and it's Entrapment. Pick one of 3 units or spells from the enemy deck and play. Woo! So you actually get to decide. So pick one of 3 units. So what you need to remember is this is actually important in a couple of different ways. So for 2 mana, you get to pick one of 3 units or spells from your opponent's deck and plant 3 Puffcaps on all copies of it. So, but what is important is this card is actually revealing 3 cards from the opponent, because I'm guessing that it will just show you randomly 3 cards, and that they're all in the opponent's deck, and you're just adding these shrooms to all copies of it, which are everywhere. But it is also allowing you to see 3 cards which are in your opponent's deck, so you know, okay, right, I know they've got this, I know they've got this, and I know they've got this. And so you are obviously trying to maximize your chances by choosing the one that you believe that they're going to run 3 copies of. But what's more valuable about this card is it is showing you what your opponent has and what they could have. So Entrapment is actually a really good card for showing you these things, as well as being more Puffcap things. So let's face it, Foundry is going to be around a lot by the looks of things, all of these Puffcap things. And the fact that, as I said, if you're running with the P&Z cards that already put Puffcaps, like Teemo's going to be insane on that front. There's going to be shrooms everywhere. Let's go in. So, we actually get to see what Poison Dart does, which that other card upon attack and when summoned gives you one of these. So it's a 1-mana slow speed Poison Dart. Deal 1 damage to anything and plant 3 Puffcaps in random cards. So it's just another card which can give you Puffcaps, I suppose, every single time that that card attacks forward. It's giving you this doing 1 damage again, so you're just doing 1 damage to anything. So you can also throw that 1 damage directly into your opponent's core, like their Nexus, and also plant 3 poison Puffcaps. So there's a lot of poison right now that's going to be going on in these with these recent cards. So that's actually devastating. It's going to be said poison Puffcaps and Foundry decks everywhere. Like, I foresee this coming. We've also got another spell here, so fast speed spell, which is P&Z, which is like, so something, deal 2 damage to a unit. If you've added 2+ cards, so it's a guy along the same line as that other one before, which I said if you're playing Foundry, this is going to do that anyway. So deal 2 damage to a unit, but if you've added 2 cards, it does 3 damage instead. So it's just one of those things whereby if you're playing Foundry, this is for 3 mana, deal 3 damage. So it's like a get excited, but bear in mind there is only units, so you can't throw this 3 damage directly into your opponent's Nexus. Whether or not that ends up swaying your decision between either putting in, because this is P&Z, so whether or not it sways your decision between putting Get Excited into the deck rather than this. I mean, obviously with Get Excited it requires a discard, so it's kind of like that, but it's forcing you to have to have drawn 2 cards. Like there's ups and downs. Whether or not this one will see play or not, I don't know over the other one, but we'll see how it does. So we've got a 1 mana card for adding to P&Z, which is the Stinky Swamp, which is good stat line. We've been seeing a lot of good 1 costs with and especially you see that it's got a last breath. So Good one cost with Last Breath is like with that stat line of a 2-1 is always good. Last Breath, create a copy of me in the enemy deck with 2. So this, what this is actually doing as well, what's important to know about this is, in a manner of speaking, like Pesky Spectre and cards like that, it is forcing cards into your opponent's deck that they wouldn't normally have, and so it's forcing that they could potentially draw these cards, and like it's not what they're after. Like, you know, they don't want a 1-cost 2-1. Like, it is also putting some Puffcaps into their deck as well, and it would be if they use this and it dies, they're putting Puffcaps into your deck, but it's not what they want. If they draw this, especially if you're running a Foundry deck, if they draw this and then burn one of the cards that was actually in their deck that they really wanted, this is actually quite a nice card. So for like all of these cards, Devastate actually really like, I'm not gonna lie, Bandle City is gonna be a bandit on the meta in terms of just like Puffcaps everywhere. There's gonna have to be a card or something which enters the game, which is like a purification card whereby you can like anti-poison your cards or something, because otherwise Puffcaps are just gonna go too insane, right? If there's no card that gets added to the game, which is just like, you know, remove Puffcaps from the top however many cards of my deck. I mean, that's what I hope that we see with this. Otherwise, as I said, it will just be Teemo going mad with Puffcaps everywhere. So hopefully at some point, obviously we've still got loads more reveals to get through as we go through day by day, but hopefully we see a card that just like purify the top 5 cards of my deck or something like that to no longer have shrooms on them. But we just have to see how it goes. But Foundry looks like it's going to see a rise. I'm loving all this, like the Yodel words and just like all these different ways of adding Puffcaps. Swole Scout, as I said, without Scout. But the best is Doggo with the Puffcap Pup. Definitely a contender for the most adorable card this patch, or this expansion. So we'll see what goes on with that. But yeah, I'm really loving the idea of this card, the Traveler's Aloof, whereby it's forcing your opponent to discard their highest cost card as well. So this is actually a really good card as well. All those ASOL players out there right now crying, but anyway, great times. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your opinions on these cards. So what are your opinions? Please let me know down below in the comment section, as well as there's the Discord link down below. And shameless plug time, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. You can catch me on Twitch on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So you want to come catch the action live yourself, please feel free to. As well as I said, like the Discord link, whereby there's the custom card contest going on at this moment in time. So if you want to win yourself a little bit of money, why not consider getting involved in that? As well as just, if you enjoyed this video or my opinions or foolishness in general, why not consider hitting that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. But thank you so much for watching, and so I would love to hear your opinion, so let me know down in that comment. Until next time, goodbye.
From flash of brilliance that could save me. Save me! That doesn't save me. Okay, is there anything from you? Save me. That doesn't save me. Okay. Get rid of this and get rid of this. Find something that can save me.